Hurricanes, earthquakes, droughts, and inundations are calls to wake up.
Defects, sin, and absurdities. Thus saith the Lord. Understand my lesson, so you will not make more mistakes during your lifetime. For any offense which you may cause your brethren, in word or deed, will be an unforgettable reminder in your conscience which will clamor relentlessly. Again I say to you, all of you are necessary for the fulfillment of the divine plan and for the end of so much spiritual misery among mankind. As long as egotism exists, suffering will also exist. Replace your indifference, your egotism, and your contempt with love and charity, and you will see how soon peace will come to you. Seek to advance in human life, but never allow yourselves to be dominated by excessive ambitions, for then you would lose your freedom and become enslaved by materialism. I forgive your faults, but I also correct them, so that you rid your heart of selfishness, for it is one of the weaknesses that most lowers your spirit. I touch you through your conscience, so that you remember your duty to your brothers, and so that you sow your path with charity and forgiveness, as I taught you in the second era. Today, the power of the material body and the influence of the world have made you selfish. But the material body is not eternal, neither is the world nor its influence. I am the patient judge whose justice reigns over life and time. Do not judge those who deny me, for I will find you guiltier than I find them. Did I ever lift my voice to judge my executioners? Did I not bless them with love and humility? If only you knew that many of those who were temporarily lost in the world because of that fault are purified in spirit today. And do not attempt to discover the hidden feelings of your fellow men, for in each being there are secrets that only I should know. And still, if you should uncover that which because it belongs to your brother should be sacred to you, do not publicize it. Do not tear away that veil, but make it more opaque. How many times have I seen a man penetrate his brother's heart to uncover his moral and spiritual nakedness, only to take joy in it and then publicize it? None who have profaned the intimacy of a fellow being in this way should then be surprised if someone along the way then strips and mocks him as well. Then he should not say that it is the rod of justice which measures him, for it will be the rod of injustice with which he measured his brothers. Respect others, cover those whose secrets have been revealed with your mantle of charity, and defend those who are weak from the rumors of mankind. Not all who wander the streets and roads, explaining revelations, interpreting prophecies, or speaking of times past are my envoys. Many, out of vanity, resentment, or because of some expected material gain, have taken up those teachings to offend and judge, to humiliate and injure, or even to kill. Rise up, humanity, find the road, find the meaning of life, unite people with people, love one another. Oh, how thin is the wall that divides one home from another, but you live so far apart. Oh, how many conditions there are to be permitted to pass the borders between one people and another. And this is just between you humans. What about those who are in the other life? But you do not hide them behind the veil of your forgetfulness. You do it with the veil of your ignorance, which is like a dense darkness. Do you see those men who only live to satisfy their measureless ambition? Who trample the lives of their fellow men without respecting the rights that I, their creator, conceded them? Do you see how their works speak only of envy, hatred, and greed? For them you must pray more than for others who are not so needy of light. Forgive those men all the pain they cause, and help them to reason with your clean thoughts. Do not make the fog denser around them, for when the time comes for them to answer for their actions, so too will I call to answer those who, instead of praying for them, send them only more fog in the form of hostile thoughts. Remember that in the law it told you, "Have no other gods before me." But many are the gods that human ambition has forged to adore, render tribute, and even give their lives. Understand, my law has not expired, and without you realizing, it speaks to you incessantly through the conscience. And still men are pagans and idolaters. They love their bodies, flatter its vanities, and allow its weaknesses. They love the riches of the earth, to which they sacrifice their peace and their spiritual future. They offer worship to the flesh, going at times as far as degeneration and even death in pursuit of pleasures. You may be sure that you have loved that which is of the world more than the Father. When have you sacrificed for me, loving and serving me in the person of your fellow men? When have you sacrificed your sleep, or exposed your health to come ease the sorrows that afflict your brothers? And when have you ever come to the brink of death for any of the noble ideals that my doctrine inspires? See that it is not I who you love most. See that for you the worship of material life comes before homage to the life of the Spirit. And that is why I have told you that you have other gods you serve and worship before the true one. You are so accustomed to sin that your lives have come to seem natural, normal, and legal to you, even though it appears as if Sodom and Gomorrah, as well as Babylon and Rome, had spilled all their perversity and sin out upon you. You live now in a time of confusion, in which you call good bad, in which you think you see light where there is darkness, and in which you give priority to the superfluous in preference to essential. And yet, my charity shall arrive on time, ready and able, save you, and show you the luminous road to the truth, a road from which you had become lost. To be able to triumph in all the trials, do as the Master instructed you. Be watchful and pray, so that your eyes are always alert and you are not surprised by temptation. Note that evil has great subtlety with which to test you, to make you fall, to overcome you, and take advantage of your weakness. Be perceptive, so that you may know when it stalks you. Truly I say to you, that from this darkness mankind will emerge to the light. However, that step will be slow. What would become of men if for an instant they would realize all the wrongdoing they have caused? Some would take leave of their senses, while others would put an end to their lives. The purification and spiritualization of humanity. You have forgotten the law, and you have waited for the elements to remind you of my justice. Hurricane winds, waters that run off their course, earthquakes, droughts, inundations are voices that awaken and speak to you of my justice. What other fruit can humanity offer me in this period that will not be discord and materialism? Neither are these people, who for years have listened to my teaching, able to offer me a pleasing harvest. Do you not hear the voices of justice? Do you not behold the elements touching region after region? Do you believe that if you lived a virtuous life, there would be a need for my justice to be felt in such a manner? Verily I say to you that there would be no object to purify you if I had found you cleansed. Even when in the present it seems impossible to cement peace among humanity, I tell you that peace will be made, and what is more, that men will practice spirituality. The world will suffer many calamities before the establishment of that time, but those sufferings will be for the good of humanity, in the material as well as the spiritual. It shall act as a limit to the unleashed run of selfishness, lust, and evil of men. And so, balance shall come, for the forces of evil cannot prevail over the forces of good. This purification, without really being so, has the appearance of punishment, for it comes always to touch upon the most sensitive, the most fragile and loved. But it is in reality a means to salvation for the lost spirit, or he who has lost his way. Who judges materially can find nothing useful in the pain, but he who bears within him a spirit that lives eternally extracts from that same pain light, experience, tempering, and regeneration. If you think spiritually, how can you believe that pain is bad for humanity if it comes from a God who is entirely love? Time passes, and a moment will come when the great trials begin to appear, and the last bit of peace will flee from the world, not to return until humanity has found the road of my law, and hears within the voice that says at every moment, God exists, God is within you. Recognize him, feel him, reconcile yourselves with him. That will be when the order of your life changes. Selfishness will disappear, and each person will make themselves useful to others. Men will be inspired by my justice to make new laws and govern the peoples with love. Do not fear, beloved witnesses. I tell you that this materialistic humanity, which for so long has believed in only what they could touch, see, and understand through their limited understanding, and in what could be proved by their science, shall become spiritual, and shall know how to look upon me and seek the truth with their spiritual gaze. If you were spiritually prepared, you could behold, in the infinite, multitudes of spiritual beings, who before your gaze would resemble an immense white cloud, and when the messengers or envoys moved from there, you would see them approaching as flashes of light toward you. Your spiritual vision still is not penetrating, and that is why I have to speak to you from the hereafter, from all that which you cannot contemplate yet. But I say to you that the time will come when all of you will be seers and will rejoice before the marvelous existence that today you feel distant, but in reality vibrates near you. It involves and illuminates you. It inspires you and calls incessantly at your doors. Sensitivity, presentiment, revelation, prophecy, inspiration, spiritual vision, healing, gift of speech, all of that and other additional gifts will pour out from the Spirit, and through them men will confirm that a new era has been unfolded before humanity. Today you doubt the existence of those gifts, because there are some who hide them from the world, fearing their judgment. Tomorrow it shall be the most natural and beautiful thing to possess them. I come to you during this third era, because you are ill in body and spirit. The healthy one has no need of the doctor, nor do the just require purification. Today there is still need of ministers, judges and teachers. But when your spiritual and moral conditions have been raised, you will no longer need those crutches, nor those voices. In every man there shall be a judge, a guide, a teacher, and an altar.